Welcome back to my channel, where today we are stepping into a moment that marks a turning point in WWE history, because the time for uncertainty has officially ended. The period where questions hung in the air has passed, and the reign of the tribal chief has unmistakably begun once again. Roman Reigns did far more than simply show up on SmackDown after the holiday break. His return was not casual, not sentimental, and not designed to remind fans of past glories. It was a declaration, loud and unmistakable, that his rule is not finished and that the story he is writing is entering an entirely new chapter. This moment will not just be remembered for a single night, because its impact will be felt all the way to the Royal Rumble and far beyond. Roman did not come back alone, and that detail alone speaks volumes. With the Usos once again aligned at his side, he also unveiled a presence that instantly shifted the balance of power across the entire company. A silent and intimidating figure, someone whose intentions are unclear but whose role is impossible to ignore. This mystery individual is not just another ally, but a strategic piece that changes everything about how the bloodline operates moving forward. The bloodline is not simply reunited, it is transforming, adapting, and preparing to reclaim everything it believes was taken from it. Anyone who thought the throne was abandoned misunderstood the situation completely. The king never left his kingdom unguarded, and now the island of relevancy is expanding its reach once again. This is why you should be paying attention to every moment that follows, because the most dominant force of this era is rebuilding right in front of our eyes, and missing even a second means missing history in the making. Friday night SmackDown became the stage where Roman Reigns reasserted control, where speculation ended, and where certainty returned. After weeks of quiet tension, vague hints, and carefully planted warnings, Roman finally appeared on the blue brand once more. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. The arena did not simply cheer, it shook with anticipation and awe. The sound of his entrance theme carried a weight that went beyond music. It symbolized authority, fear, and inevitability. This was not a nostalgic callback to the past. This was the unveiling of something new, a second phase of his rule that feels more calculated, more dangerous, and more refined than ever before. Standing beside him were Jimmy and Uso, reunited after months of separation and internal conflict, their presence alone signaling that the family fractures that once weakened the bloodline are being addressed. But what truly captured attention was the new figure alongside them, a powerful and composed enforcer whose silence spoke louder than any words could. This individual did not need to introduce himself. His presence alone suggested purpose, loyalty, and menace. The rebuilding of the bloodline is no longer theoretical. It is happening in real time, and the road to the 2026 Royal Rumble has suddenly become far more unpredictable and compelling. Roman Reigns' absence was not without consequences. While he was away, the WWE landscape shifted dramatically. A vacuum formed at the top, and where there is no clear ruler, chaos is inevitable. Alliances fractured, egos grew bolder, and stars who once stayed in line began to believe that the summit was finally within reach. Solo Sikoa emerged as a disruptive force, leading a rogue version of the bloodline that challenged the very identity Roman had built. Loyalty was questioned, respect was tested, and the hierarchy that once seemed unbreakable began to crumble. For many, this felt like an opportunity. Without Roman standing at the peak, competitors grew confident, even reckless, believing the era of the tribal chief had quietly ended. But Roman's return was never going to be simple. He could not just walk back into SmackDown and expect the same fear and obedience to fall into place. Too much had changed. The roster had evolved, rivalries had intensified, and the scars left by his absence were still fresh. Reigns faced multiple challenges all at once. He needed to reassert dominance in a world that had learned how to function without him. He needed to mend the most critical fracture within his own family by bringing the Usos back under one banner. Most importantly, he needed to show that he had evolved as well. The old methods of the bloodline were familiar. Everyone had seen them, studied them, and tried to counter them. To rule a new era, Roman required something different. He needed a new weapon, a fresh element of unpredictability that would remind everyone that his mind never stopped working, even while he was away from the spotlight. The moment of his return was crafted with precision and drama. After what appeared to be an ordinary match, the arena was suddenly plunged into darkness, creating a pause that felt endless. Then the first note of Roman Reigns' theme echoed through the building, followed by a second, before the full force of the music hit. The crowd reaction was explosive, a mix of shock, excitement, and anticipation. When the lights returned, Roman Reigns stood at the entrance, composed and commanding, dressed in a sharp modern suit that emphasized his confidence and authority. Notably absent was the undisputed WWE Championship. That absence was intentional. Roman was not there to chase a title. He was there to reclaim control. His slow walk down the ramp was deliberate, each step reinforcing the idea that he was not in a hurry, because everything eventually comes to him. His expression remained calm, almost cold, projecting an authority that does not need to shout to be heard. This return immediately raised questions across the WWE Universe. Who exactly is the mystery man standing beside him, and what role will he play in this new version of the Bloodline? Is he an enforcer, a strategist, or something even more dangerous? What does Roman's return mean for stars like Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and every other competitor who has fought tooth and nail to climb toward the top during Roman's absence? The path to the Royal Rumble in 2026 has transformed overnight into must-see television. Every segment, every interaction, and every match now carries added weight, because the tribal chief is watching and planning. This rebuild is not rushed. It is methodical, intentional, and rooted in long-term dominance. Roman Reigns has made it clear that he is not interested in short victories or temporary success. He is rebuilding an empire designed to last. That is why this moment matters so much. This is not just a return. It is a reset of the power structure in WWE. If you want to understand where the company is headed, you need to follow every step of this journey. Stay locked in, stay engaged, and join the conversation. Share your thoughts on who the mystery enforcer could be and how you think this evolving bloodline will shape the future. The speculation, the analysis, and the unfolding drama are what make this era so compelling, and this channel will be here every step of the way, breaking it all down so you do not miss a thing. As this new chapter unfolds, it becomes increasingly clear that Roman Reigns is not simply reacting to what happened during his absence, but responding with a long-term vision that feels carefully constructed. Every detail of his return suggested preparation rather than impulse. From the timing to the presentation, from the allies at his side to the silence of the mystery enforcer, everything pointed to a leader who never truly stepped away. While others fought for position and clashed for temporary dominance, Roman was observing the battlefield, learning how it had changed, and identifying where to strike first. This is what separates him from the rest of the roster. He does not rush. He does not panic. He waits until the moment is right, and then he moves with absolute certainty. The bloodline, once thought fractured beyond repair, is now being reshaped into something leaner, more focused, and potentially more dangerous than ever before. This is not about nostalgia or recreating what once was. This is about evolution. Roman understands that power must adapt or fade, and his actions show that he is fully aware of the new generation of threats standing in his way. The reunion with the Usos is especially significant, not just because of their history, but because of what their unity represents. Jimmy and G have traveled difficult paths since the bloodline first began to crumble. They experienced independence, doubt, and internal conflict, each testing their identity away from Roman's shadow. Their return to his side does not feel forced or reluctant. Instead, it feels like a conscious decision to reclaim their place at the center of WWE's most dominant family. This reunion sends a message to the locker room that loyalty has been restored and that the foundation of the bloodline is once again solid. When the Usos stand together, they are not just tag team specialists. They are extensions of Roman's will, capable of controlling entire divisions and shifting momentum with precision. Their presence alone changes how opponents must prepare, because facing Roman now means facing a unified front rather than an isolated champion. Then there is the mystery enforcer, the figure who has generated endless discussion and speculation since that night. His silence is intentional, and his restraint is perhaps the most unsettling aspect of all. In a world where superstars often demand attention through words and bravado, this man stands quietly, letting his presence speak for him. He does not interrupt. He does not posture. He simply watches. That calm intensity suggests discipline, loyalty, and a willingness to act when commanded. Whoever he is, his alignment with Roman Reigns immediately elevates him into relevance. He is not presented as a background character or a temporary bodyguard. He feels like a key piece in Roman's larger strategy, someone who exists to handle situations before they spiral out of control. This adds a new layer to the bloodline's operations. Where once intimidation came through numbers and interference, now it comes through unpredictability and psychological pressure. No one knows when or how this enforcer will strike, and that uncertainty alone is enough to keep rivals on edge. The ripple effects of Roman's return are already being felt across SmackDown and beyond. Superstars who grew confident during his absence are now being forced to reassess their plans. Cody Rhodes, a man who has built his journey on resilience and unfinished business, must now confront the reality that Roman is once again standing between him and ultimate validation. Seth Rollins, always calculating and always prepared, now has to consider how this new version of Roman fits into his own pursuit of legacy. Younger stars who believed the hierarchy was finally shifting are learning a hard lesson about patience and timing. Roman's presence does not just create obstacles, it reshapes narratives. Feuds that once seemed inevitable may be delayed or redirected. Alliances may form out of necessity rather than trust. The entire roster must now operate under the understanding that the tribal chief is back, watching closely, and deciding who is worthy of his attention. What makes this phase especially compelling is that Roman Reigns does not appear desperate for immediate championship gold. The absence of the title during his return was symbolic. It suggested that his focus is bigger than any single belt. He is reclaiming influence, authority, and respect before chasing tangible rewards. This approach makes him even more dangerous, because it shows restraint. He is not scrambling to prove himself. He knows who he is and he knows what he represents. By rebuilding the bloodline first, by securing loyalty and control, he ensures that when he does decide to pursue championships, the path will already be cleared. This is empire building rather than title hunting, and it aligns perfectly with the persona he has cultivated over the years. As the road to the 2026 Royal Rumble continues, every episode of SmackDown becomes a piece of a larger puzzle. Subtle glances, brief confrontations, and strategic absences all carry meaning. Roman Reigns thrives in this environment, where anticipation is just as powerful as action. Fans are no longer just watching matches, they are watching a story unfold, one where every move has consequences and every alliance matters. The Bloodline's evolution is not happening overnight, and that slow burn is exactly what makes it compelling. It invites discussion, debate, and speculation, drawing viewers deeper into the narrative. This is no longer just about who wins or loses. It is about who controls the future. In the end, Roman Reigns' return serves as a reminder of why he has remained at the center of WWE's modern era for so long. His ability to command attention, to shape stories, and to elevate those around him is unmatched. The era of doubt truly is over, replaced by a sense of inevitability that the tribal chief brings with him wherever he goes. The bloodline is back, not as a memory of past dominance, but as a living, evolving force with unfinished business. As the weeks move forward and the Royal Rumble draws closer, one thing is certain. WWE has entered a new phase and Roman Reigns is once again standing at the heart of it, ready to reclaim everything he believes belongs.